Haven, and welcome back to Arts Respond on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. I'm your host, Lucy Gellman, and today I am really excited to be here with a beautiful constellation of people, and we are talking about something that could not be more important. We're talking about World AIDS Day, and specifically a multimedia, I would say arts heavy, arts focused celebration, recognition of World AIDS Day that is taking place on December 2nd. So you may think, okay, but World AIDS Day is December 1st, and that's correct, but December 2nd, which is a Saturday, at 6 p.m. at 266 Shelton Avenue, which is St. Mary's UFWB Church.
Yes, correct.
So we are going to get right into it. So Andrea Daniels Singleton, you are I would say the Renaissance woman who brought this to me. So kick us off. Tell us a little bit about what's in store.
So what's in store on December 2nd is a celebration. We want to come together. We want to live and love and encourage one another. We want to just love and uplift and let each other know that we're here for one another and we all are important and we all matter, and HIV is not a death sentence, but you can live and you can live well.
That's right. And I would love for the beautiful folks who are on the Zoom to introduce themselves and how they came to work around awareness, prevention, and then also the arts, because we're talking about arts and also I know faith for several of the folks on this call is very important. And both of those can be portals into understanding and talking about HIV, as Andrea, as you said, is no longer a death sentence. So I'm going to kick it off with Nadine Ruff, who I'm trying to not have a fangirl moment, by the way, but who
She's my fan too.
Yes.
Please don't pick me first.
At least on Zoom is, and the beauty of community radio is I see we have someone else joining us. Hello.
Oh, yes. Hi, it's Colin Haywood.
Welcome. We just got kicked off, so we're so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Nadine, you said don't start with you?
No, go ahead. You already started, so I might as well go ahead.
Yes.
So I'm a intensive medical case manager at AIDS Project, AP&H, a place to nurse your health. And how I got involved is that I've been living with HIV for over 38 years. So I was a client first, and I'm also a licensed master social worker, so I'm doing clinician work now. I'm also a founder of a transgender support group called Divinely You. And I got involved because, I watched us pass away with this disease. And so I wanted to help, and not only did I want to be a client, I want to find ways to help. So I figured going to school and getting to where I can get degrees so where I can be a part of the helping process. So I did that, and so now I work at AP&H, and I've gotten several awards for helping people in the community with HIV and AIDS. So, and somehow or another, I like to end the epidemic of HIV and AIDS in the neighborhoods of our brown and Black people. So that's what I'm here for.
Who would like to take it? So this is meant to be an organic conversation. So I'm just going to say, jump in, folks.
Hi, I'm Sean Hardy. I am at Still the Cooper downtown New Haven with some of my favorite people. I'm jumping in only as always the master of ceremony for my cousin Andrea Daniels Singleton events. So this is another event that she's having, and for some reason she thought enough of me. And Lucy, it's good to see you. She thought enough of me to ask me to be an MC, master of ceremony. So I'm only here as the master of ceremony or narrator for another fabulous event that one of my favorite relatives is hosting. So that is my partake for tonight's event, because I'm going to be zooming out very, very shortly to go back to my oxtails, praise the Lord. And so because of her,
not on tonight.
Can you bring
that's my forte on tonight.
Not
and of course,
oxtails on
I love
tonight.
everybody, and I appreciate the cause, and I salute the cause. And because of her, she's always having wonderful monologues or wonderful life-changing situations. She always think enough of me to be as master of ceremony. So I promised. I had a Zoom problem, but I promised that I would Zoom in. And so I'm hoping that everybody would support her as they have done over the course of the years, because she has such fabulous ideas, intellectually, musically, spiritually, and naturally. I don't know if my intellect is where her intellect is, but nevertheless, I appreciate her for always thinking enough of little old me to be a participant in all her gatherings. And so, our family is a little bit private and a little bit bougie. And so that's how it is. And so I'm only up here tonight to salute her for a job well done. And it's good to see all of you. I know all of you are, and I love all of you and your respective places. And so Hardy is zooming out. But I just wanted to say, Andrea, great job. Lucy, we worked together for several years with the Board of Education, a lot of my projects at the school. And so I'm just glad to be a part. And Andrea, I do these things because of her. And I salute her work in the community. It's because of you.
And you're going to bring some of that oxtail, right? On December 2nd, you'll bring it, okay.
Yeah, December 2nd is what it is, New Haven, Connecticut. Please come out and support cousin Andrea Daniels Singleton work. All I can say to you is, Andrea, it's a fabulous project that you're putting together. I love you dearly, and the best is yet to come. Thank you for considering me. I'm zooming out. My oxtails are calling me right now with gravy. Woo! Hallelujah. All right. It's good to see all of you. All right.
All right.
All right. Ciao, ciao. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Stefan Jenkins, let's hop to you.
Oh, God.
Oh, I have to follow that. That is my cousin, Sean Hardy. I am Stefan Jenkins. I am another family relative of Andrea, cousin. And I am always, I'm very careful and strategic in who I connect with, especially, doing things for the community and making sure they're reputable and, just done with integrity and taste and so on and so forth. And my cousin Andrea, not just because she's family, always does an amazing job at bringing hard, there's a better word than hard, but that was the first word that came to my mind. But issues and situations that aren't talked about on the, in the norm, especially in the church community. They should be having these conversations and should be having, shows or not shows, I'm not going to say shows, but celebrations such as this, bringing awareness and bringing light to the community abroad. She always does an amazing job, bringing it and collaborating it with the arts. I also work closely with her with her monologues, and also I believe I met you, Lucy, the last time on our video chat for the monologue, and I got involved because she pulled me back in. But not only that, I work with behavioral health. I work for a behavioral health organization, and when receiving the phone calls and hearing the stories and having to be able to assist and assess the clients that we get, I hear it abroad. Not only that, my mom was HIV for many, many, I think about maybe 12 years before she even said anything to anyone. And she's no longer with us, not due to, the HIV, but domestic abuse. So that's a whole nother, tree. But when we found out, we didn't know she was, going through this and having to live through this and what, so on and so forth for so many years. So I'm pleased that Andrea asked me to be a part. I'm sure she'll have me running around, helping her out on December 2nd. Whatever she needs me to do, I'm always there. But it's always a pleasure. And for those listening, please make sure you come out, bring a friend, pull them on in. December 2nd, we're going to be at St. Mary's Unison Free Will Baptist Church at 266 Shelton Avenue in New Haven at 6 p.m. sharp. Please come out and be informed, be educated, be encouraged to know, again, as Andrea said, it is not a death sentence. So come out and celebrate.
And I want to talk about, so Mr. Shaw, I would love for you to introduce yourself, but then I also do want to talk about something, Andrea, that you lifted up at the beginning of this that is so important, which is one, HIV is not a death sentence, and two, it is so vitally important that people know their status.
Absolutely. And absolutely. I'm so happy. We're going to have HIV testing on that night as well. Correct. So we are fully equipped. We're going to have literature. We're going to have HIV testing. We're going to have case managers in the building so you know where they are and what agency or medical center or hospital that they are located. We have a physician, Dr. O. He's going to speak. We have a HIV positive powerhouse, Gloria Sesser. She's coming. She's out of Brooklyn, New York. She's going to address the community. My vision and my mission is to say, wake up everybody.
Very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting.
And that song will be sung. Wake up everybody.
Well, Andrea, I'm glad you convinced me to get involved because Andrea's been trying to get me involved for a long time.
Yes.
But I'm just busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. But this work is from the outside looking in, people might look at it as my day job, but it's not a job. It's really, a calling. Mm-hmm. I remember, and I've just seen through the years I've been, involved working with people who live with AIDS and HIV. When I first started working, doing this work with Elsie Cofield, I was working with Bell's Funeral Home, setting up, funerals for people. That was the very first work that we did because, there were families that abandoned their children. There was some real stuff going on here. People did not want to, and Mrs. Cofield was there. AIDS Interfaith was there. There were several other case managers that were there. Beverly Dykes. There were others. Azim Rahman. There were others. There were other case managers that were there that were really, boots on the ground with regard to meeting the community that were living with this disease right where they were. It was just really incredible. The group that we had, and just to see people grow, to go from preparing people for the end of life, to watching people have children, to watching people go to school and build careers. It's so refreshing.
Yes.
And sometimes I get emotional because it's not something that, you know, you just come. It's not a mechanical job. It's not something that you just come, you know, to work and just do. These are real people and real lives that you've seen grow and help grow. And so it means a lot to me. And it means more than money. It means more than position and title. It means more than anything that I've ever done. And people ask me why I've done it so long. But it's really been a rewarding thing for me to be in the position to help and guide people. I work at the Cornell Scott Hill Health Center, where I've learned so much about HIV and the disease, working alongside of the medical providers. It, I can't say how rewarding it's been for me, and the information that I've been able to share with the patients that we serve in the community. I'm coming to this event because, you know, I'm down with the program. I'm just letting y'all know. That's just how it is. And if I wasn't invited, I wouldn't have said nothing, but I would have felt a certain kind of way.
I like
I wouldn't have said nothing, but I would have been like, "Yo, what's up with that?" Because I want to because I want to be a part, and I want to let people know that folks like us haven't gone anywhere. We're, you know, and if we do decide to go some other places, we're training up people, real good people, to come behind us. You know, we know that we still have a lot of work to do, but we've come a long, long way. And we have to tell the story correctly, particularly in New Haven, because New Haven suffered very, very greatly in this area. And there's a story to tell, but then there's also some real good success stories out there that also need to be told, and also need to be celebrated, and also need to be uplifted in many ways. And that's a real thing that we really need to talk about. That's what World AIDS Day needs to be about too. Not only just memorializing individuals who have left because we love them, yes, but we want to also talk about the progressions of those who had to suffer and survive and make it. You know, you know, paying rent, you know, going to school, you know, those everyday things, you know, and in many cases having to have that secret.
Right.
Like for 12 years.
I know for me, first I think that
incredible.
First of all, I'd like to thank you yourself in front of this audience, because you've had a part of playing in my life to get into this place that I am. If it had not been for Elsie Cofield being one of the first transgender women in the New Haven area accepting me, I don't know if I would be here still today. You know, because not only was I a Black woman with a trans experience, but I also was living with HIV, and that was not pretty much welcoming in churches. You know,
right.
So being able to stand here today and to be, I should say, a success story when it comes to HIV and AIDS, but I also have what would I say? I have a feeling of like, why me? When I watch so many other people pass away, and so I have some of that guilt, like, why am I still here? You know what I'm saying? But I realize why I'm here, because it helped me to do the work. It had positioned me to do the work that I'm doing today, and so it helps me to try to get, like I said, I'm an intensive medical case manager at APNH, and I can talk to those clients because I am one of those clients, and to get them to be, look, come on, we're not dying today. We have tools, you know, and so it helps me to like Yusuf was saying, meet them where they at. I am where they at. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier for me to reach out to them and say, look, we can do, how can I help you? What do I need to do? You know, and so I appreciate and I thank you for having me come aboard on this, because like there is some true stories and success stories in this process of living with HIV. Today, when they say people living with HIV, no, some of us allow HIV to live with us. Today is not living
That's a
with
good
me.
one.
It's living with, I'm asking it to live with me, you know, and so that way I don't have to have it take over my life, you know,
Right.
because I'm not just a person that's living with HIV. I'm also a parent. I'm a was a student. I'm a counselor. I'm all of that, you know. And my fight is like I mentioned earlier, how to get this in our communities. Like, how do we get the resources in our communities so we can end? Because we're never end the epidemic of HIV and AIDS if we're not reaching the people of color in the
Correct.
neighborhood that
That's
they are.
right.
You
That's
know,
right.
so that's my fight. You know, my fight is like, okay, I get that you're placed right in our community. Can we get the resources that other people are getting? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's how it said, that's not people of color who have all the success and have all the resources and have all that. And I was just at a meeting the other day when it says we don't quite understand why the areas of 06511 still popping up with HIV. New diagnosis.
Really?
I have to explain to him, because you're not reaching them, you're not giving them the resources. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
How can they have why they don't have the resources that you guys have? Somebody needs to knock them. I said some of us need to become a Jehovah's Witness and knock at some doors.
And
You know,
that's who I'm going
it
for. I'm going for that 06511. I'm going for that 06515.
I mean, you know, it's incredible. You know, you know, they cut the prevention dollars, right? You know, so you don't have, you know, the manpower to go out there and get the message out there when you need to get it out there. And then they wonder why, you know, the numbers go up.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, this is, you know, it's, you know, from what I've learned, you know, it's, you know, they can count this stuff is countable. They can count this. The data shows that when there's prevention dollars in the right places, you know, there is a
Alleviate some of
decrease.
the issues. But what gets me the most is like, it's not just the areas of 06511 or 06506 or whatever. It's all over the world. And it's not just, it's all areas just like the 106511. You know what I'm saying? It's all like those areas. Now, you put these organizations right in the middle of these areas, why are these people getting reached? But we're still every year talking about ending the epidemics of HIV and AIDS. But you're not coming into those neighborhoods where for them. So like, I'm one of those spokespersons, a person that's HIV is living with. Like, how do you help my people? I'm tired of seeing my people, my Black and brown people, getting, you know, still popping up with newly diagnosed people with HIV. There should be no newly diagnosed. If we got all these new tools, what is it? U equals U. If you undetectable, you're untransmittable. You know, but what I've come to realize, so in our neighborhoods, and is that the stigma is so deep that people don't want to maybe test or maybe want to talk about. Or,
Exactly.
you
Well,
know,
why are you
like
testing? You know, you must have it. You know what I mean?
Why
you
you
know
over there by the
that
truck? You know what I'm
nonsense.
saying?
You know, it
We
gets
got to get past that stigma so that way we can reach our brothers and sisters, because like, this is what HIV and AIDS look like. And I might say to myself, I'm a very beautiful HIV and AIDS looking candidate. You know what I'm saying?
So
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
you had something to say?
No, please go ahead. I'm so sorry I cut you off.
I want people to realize, like, we're not dying today, you know, and you can be healthy as long as you find out, first of all, find out if you're positive. And because what I've learned was At first, I thought it was, and most people probably thought like I did. At first, I thought it was a curse. I thought it was a curse because, oh, I'm a woman with a trans experience, or it could be somebody, a man having sex with men or whatever, or the LGBT community. At first, I thought it was cursed, but I realized that it wasn't a curse. It was a better way to show me how to take care of me. And I think if that message get out, then people start to, okay, you know, you don't have to die. We're not dying today. I will have watched many of my counterparts pass away, but today we're not dying. We're living.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I also wanted to ask, and this is for the group, and Andrea, you can hop in if you want. You know, I think there is a deep connection between defeating stigma and celebrating this day, and also holding space for the people who we've lost over decades and decades, because the conversations that we were having in the 1970s and 1980s and in New Haven into the 90s, New Haven was, I believe, the capital of Connecticut for the HIV and AIDS epidemic at one time, from like the late 80s into the early 90s.
Correct.
And it's a very different conversation today, and thank goodness, right?
Yes.
Um,
yes.
And yet, I think, Ms. Ruff, you're absolutely right that there is still so much stigma among folks, and shame as well.
Yeah. Sure.
And those two are horrible bedfellows because they feed off of each other.
And it's toxic. It also helps the virus. You know what I'm saying? Because you're so worried about how somebody might see you, what people, because we're still stuck on that. Like, oh, if you come to my house, you got to use a paper plate. We got to bleach everything. People are still stuck in that mind frame. You know, in that process because of what the message that was put out there. And now they're not getting a new message that, okay, there's tools. You know what I'm saying? You don't catch it from looking at a person. You don't catch it from
That's right.
You won't catch it from the doorknob. You know what I'm saying?
Or a toilet seat.
Or toilet seat. So
right.
I think it has not been embedded into our people of color because we're still traumatized about with the stigma, you know.
I think it's because a lot of us have just wanted to just turn our backs to it like it didn't exist and wish it away.
Or pray it away.
Or pray it away.
Pray it away. Yeah.
And that was not going to happen because, you know, I mean, God even showed us that wasn't going to happen. People just left, you know, people were dying.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I mean, this is not just, you know, a church thing. This is a mosque thing too. Okay. Don't think that, you know, we haven't lost Muslim brothers and sisters from HIV and AIDS because we have. So I mean, you know, we have to really face, you know, the fact that we really didn't do a good job at communicating everything the right way, the way we really should have. And I will say, and I know I'm not trying to be biased towards Mrs. Schofield, but she tried.
Yes, she did.
She really tried to make sure that the message got out there the right way. Okay. And
but I don't understand. They needed more people than just Miss Schofield.
I know, exactly.
That's right. You can't be a one-woman revolution.
You can't do it all yourself.
And that's what happened. And I think the for some reason the collaboration just didn't happen. I don't know. I think it was too much competition, you know, instead of, you know, people just saying, hey, look, let's just do it. Let's just do it together.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, well, you know, if I have this agency and you have to, you know, it was just too much of that kind of infighting. And, you know, everything just got diffuse. And it's just really a shame. But I know that there's a lot of people in the community that don't understand U equals U. Because when they come in and you know, for the rapid testing, And when they come in for STD testing in the ID department, they're asking a lot of questions based on what they hear in the community. And if you gave them a quiz, it would be all wrong.
Failed.
It would be all wrong. And I mean not to be funny or anything, but we give them the information. And that's why forums like this is so important. Because what you hear, in the street, in the bathroom, in the corner, is not gonna save you. It's not. You just have to be. You have to get accurate information out in the community, because if you know anything like I know, the worst thing that could get out in the community is something that ain't true, because that's the
and
because it spreads like wildfire.
One of the reasons I chose to make it different than what I experienced with World AIDS Day is I found that many times I became sad because of the way, they, no disrespect to the people that have gone on.
Right.
But it made me really sad because it was you had to look at so many names going up the screen and, so many different tributes. And I was just like, my God. And it made me really sad. So this time I wanted to celebrate the survival, the hard work of individuals. Right. And I didn't want to single anybody out because we all are affected by it. So if I bring it in as a celebration and celebrating everybody that's affected by it, I'm not singling anybody out, any one community out. So the message will be received by everyone. What you take to you is what you need. What you don't, you throw out. But I didn't want to single anybody out.
So I want to talk about how we're making this into a celebration and what folks can look forward to on December 2nd at 6 p.m. And I also want to bring in our guest who's on the phone. Thank you for waiting so patiently.
Oh, Colin.
Colin, are you still there? Oh, maybe not.
You can see.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Beautiful. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for waiting so patiently. So one of the things I want to make sure that we talk about, so folks who are listening know, is how this is going to be a celebration that is also an education, right?
Yes.
Because I think that people have uplifted that, and that is vitally important. So, Colin, handing the floor over to you for a moment.
Well, I think music plays a major role with its uplifting, and I mean, of course, you have a myriad of different types of music that could either bring you down or uplift you. And I think through all of the things that communities have gone through, and with this, music has really can really uplift you to get you through these valleys and points in your life. And I think this is a night to celebrate musically, a music of hope, of joy and excitement that we're still here, and we have life to live. I mean, years ago, I came through the 70s, and I heard you all talking earlier, and it was the church was not involved with educating the people. And I think the media really brought an awareness of fear. Like I think I heard someone saying they told don't shake hands with people, don't do this, that, and the other thing. And I think that because of that, the stigma has was born that you can't do or involve yourself with. I have been my friends that passed from that, but they weren't, as Andrea said, to celebrate not they're gone, but to celebrate those that are here, and not only that, to celebrate those that are gone and the families that have been involved with all of this, with their families that are even still dealing and living with HIV now, and but it's a night of hope and celebration. We celebrate other things. We need to celebrate this as well, musically. The great information that will be given to the people that have come, and I think to show love to everyone in terms of it's not a, as they said, not a death sentence, but it's a part of our lives that we're all involved with. There's no one is an island. We're all involved in this to make people's lives better. I think, and if you don't have it, haven't lived with it, you know someone that has. So or is living with it, and so it's a point of, I think, to show love, reach out to everyone, and come to get information that you could probably send and bring to one of your family or a friend, and just to celebrate people that are there for the work and that they're doing, if you're working in the community, or just to celebrate celebration of life. And it's not a celebration. Most times we have a celebration of life. Someone is dead. The funeral, but this is a time to rejoice and celebrate the fact that people are here, and the love for each other in the community. It is, and I'll say this, and I'm going to be quiet. The church has, and I can't go back to that because I'm really involved in that piece, has, there's a scripture that says that people perish for lack of knowledge, and I think, and someone said, pray it away. It's more than praying it away. There should be resources, as you said, and talk about it. Now, it's not a taboo subject. It's a subject that it's real. And not, okay, well, pray for it. That's great. But we need to have information that's readily available to give to people, and not make people feel that they are shouldn't be allowed to be able to talk about or feel ashamed about something, but love on them anyway, and give them information that can help them to the next place.
Absolutely.
I also think that you should celebrate the church that's allowing us to do that. You know what I'm saying? That way we'll give other churches, okay, it's okay to do. It's okay to accept. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like, I think the churches are one of the key components that are can get information out to other people.
Sure.
And so if they can open their doors to accept, because I'm sure there's people that go to church and have HIV but won't tell their pastor.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so I think it needs to be where you can talk about this and not be afraid that because you're talking you might catch it, or making a person feel. The main thing about HIV and AIDS, I can remember coming through, is about that rejection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
One wants to be rejected, and people are still feeling that same thing. If I tell you, will I get rejected?
Exactly.
Right.
And I think people that goes to church are probably still feeling that same thing. If I tell anybody in the church, if I tell my pastor, it might spread like wildfire, and then they might segregate me from the open fellowship. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think, I think you should also celebrate that church that's doing this, because they're being open enough to be willing to take this celebration in and allow people to know, other community churches to know that this is our community. So if I'm willing to do it, why not the next community? Why not the next church? Because that'll be one instrument to help us get lower the rates of HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, well, just to give kudos to my church, this is the first celebration that I actually did in the church. Actually, this is my first celebration, period. But I had info sessions at my church.
Right, I remember.
In the past.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
My aunt, who is 100 years old, at the time, she was probably in her 90s, and the pastor.
Yes.
So I had to go have a conversation with her. And thank God she's open-minded. One thing she didn't allow me to do was pass out condoms, because I guess I was pushing it. But she allowed me to have conversation, bring people in to talk about it, the facts, the myths. We did all of that because we did have people in our church that were positive. And she knew.
Mm-hmm.
She knew. So I really appreciate her. And it's very, very, very rare. It should not be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare that churches will open their doors for such a event like this. And I think this is only my personal opinion, that it exposes more than they want to be exposed.
Yeah. But we cannot keep hiding behind
I
what
agree. I agree.
Because that's this saying that to the fellowship that I belong, we are sick as our secrets. Now, if we keep this secret of HIV and AIDS, our community is going to continue to die. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not enough information reaching our community. So a lot of people of color, they like going to church. They like getting up on Sunday, putting their Sunday best on, and praising the Lord and all that. But the Lord even wants us to reach out to these people because Jesus did it. You know what I'm saying?
I think one of the biggest issues is you can't preach against something that you're participating in. And they find out. So if you are participating in something that you're preaching against, I'm pretty much not going to bring it to my church. If I'm the leader, I'm going to try to probably keep it out. I know for a fact that has been the issue in some churches, but we're talking about some years ago. So hopefully things are turning around.
Well, my thing is we should all approach this, from the angle of health and wellness.
Yeah.
See, and that eliminates all of these lines of, what you believe and what you don't believe, because health and wellness is good for everybody, isn't it?
So yeah,
and we can work on and then because some people are hardlined. I mean, how some of these, and we can work on that, and we can work on some of the other stuff. But see, if we go at it from a health and wellness standpoint, see, I want to be in the house because I want to let people know, yes, there are still case managers here. Yes, if you need concrete case management, you can come. There's still people at the Hill Health Center. There's still medical case managers at the Hill Health Center. You can still get testing, all of the services for infectious diseases are still there. There's still places that you can come. You can still get education. You can get the right information. That's why I want to be there, because I want to make sure that people get the right information. And I know other people are going to be there tooting the same horn, but these are the types of forums that we need to come to and really toot our horns and say, hey, look, this is where we are. Spread the word. These are my business cards, or this is my phone number. If you need anything, come. No, I don't have any condoms today, but this is where you can come and get them. No, I don't have this, but come and get it here. This is how we help one another.
Yeah.
I may not be able, look, can I come and talk to you? I have appointment cards. I'll give you an appointment right there. See, that's how I roll.
How I roll. I'll give him my personal phone number. Here, call me.
I
do because
I used to do that, but I learned.
I'm new at this, so I'm giving them a person. Not only that, because I'm an intensive medical case manager, they need to be able to reach somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially
I learned from you.
I love that. And
learn from me, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I do think you're right, and shout out to St. Mary's for holding the space and for having the space.
Absolutely.
But I also think you're right in that. So my mother-in-law and I talk about this a lot. She is she's very devoted to her church, and has gotten into some disagreements with some other folks at her church because her view has always been that Jesus taught you to love your brothers and your sisters and your siblings, no matter who they are and no matter how they show up in their skin, and which shouldn't be controversial, but I guess we're living in a period where somehow that's controversial, right? But he was a radical, right? He loved you if you were poor. He loved you if you were sick. He loved you if you were a sex worker. Like, he did not
Right.
care.
We did not
And
discriminate.
yeah, that's
Well,
right. And so shout out to the fact that St. Mary's is holding this space. I do want to recognize that. So how are each of you bringing that spirit of celebration in on December 2nd?
I'm sorry.
How are you bringing in the spirit of celebration?
No, I heard that, but my phone. Can you guys hear my phone in the background that's going crazy?
I
No.
cannot.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm looking like, oh Lord. So that night we have a dance troupe. I can't wait. This is gonna be so
That's gonna be nice.
We have a dance troupe. We have 3 singers that will end the night in a medley. And it's I don't want to give away the songs, but the songs are so uplifting, and it's going to be so good because everybody know these songs. And it's just going to it's gonna mess you up, especially the old schoolers like the Teddy Pendergrass is coming through. Okay.
That's gonna be good.
Okay, so it's just about loving one another. I just want to hug some people. Sometimes a person haven't received a hug in years.
I know.
And
I just want to say I see you. I just want to say I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to do, because you don't know where life is going to take you. So please do not ever believe that you're better than, or this can't happen to you. Do not ever believe that.
That's right.
And then the grace and mercy you would want to receive.
That's right.
And what I've learned from us, for people of color, that a lot of us live in our trauma. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know how to love in that trauma. So like we're standoffish and, you know, and not open to like receiving hugs because we don't know how. You know, a lot of us don't know how, because like we're living from trauma to trauma, and we live at it as if it's natural, you know. And so as a therapist, I want to teach people how to love from within your trauma, you know, that way, because sometimes that could be a little bit of healing. But I there's so much I want to do for our community, and I know, like Elsie Cofield, I can't do it alone.
Right.
And I need all of us to, like, you know what I'm saying? I need all of us. Yeah, I want to be in that march, but I don't want to march alone. I want my brothers and sisters to march with me. You know?
Just look, Nadine, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You don't have to listen. If Mrs. Cofield was here today, she'd be breakdancing on Chapel Street. You know that.
Yeah.
She'd be very, very proud of you. And we all. And
I have to say, I watch you guys. I watch you. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's how we had to get down. I mean,
I have to watch. Like, you know, do these people really care about me being HIV positive? You know what I'm saying? You know, I know they're taking in that she's a trans woman and taking it in and you know, accepting it. But do they really care? Because a lot of us still don't think that people care about what we're doing with. You know?
Yeah, I know. Well, we're still breaking that stigma. It's out there, but we're still fighting. We're
behind down.
And we will also have dinner that night. So we're gonna provide some food so you can leave happy and full.
Some fiddles.
Sean's gonna sneak in the oxtail. For if folks don't know what that's a reference to, you haven't been with us for this whole time. So go back and listen to this whole interview.
Some fiddles.
Before we go, because our time is winding down, I also want to ask everyone on this call. So the show grew out of how artists and creatives and sort of culture makers were living in the COVID-19 pandemic. And that pandemic is still with us. I would say The HIV and AIDS epidemic in a very different way is still with us. So how are you all taking care of yourselves as well as you do this work?
Vacation, meditation.
Vacation, meditation, and a therapist.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Number
Everyone
one.
should be in therapy. I tell people that all, especially
But
women, but everyone should be in therapy. Yes.
I agree. Yes, that's the first thing, because you have to be healthy in order to help somebody and be effective with
And
doing.
you do have to seek a lot of supervision
Yeah.
when you're doing these positions because the patients, I mean, they come with everything,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know. So you never know what you might be unpacking one day. So you have to be able to have a debrief yourself so that you will be able to be safe, in your mind and and be whole when you get home and do your thing. I think a lot of what helps me is my groundedness to the mission,
Hmm.
because I know why I'm here.
Yeah.
um and when people get slick and threaten my job, I tell them I don't work for you. I know who I'm working for.
Yeah. You know.
And they don't understand. They don't understand what I'm saying, but I don't work for them.
Mm.
Okay, I work for the people that's who I'm working for. And so I'm around for a different reason. And I'm not going anywhere. I will be around, as much as I can, and I will help as much as I can because Mrs. Cofield, it was really crazy. Mrs. Cofield, I mean, she snatched me out of New Haven Family Alliance. It was like snap. She's like, "Come on, when are you coming?" And I was, and next thing you know, I was there, and you know, we really did some really terrific work. I learned a lot there, and she is sorely missed.
Yeah.
But the fruits of her labor, the fruits of her work, is what I think is most rewarding to see right now. So I wanna thank you for having me on, for me to even be able to articulate this, because this is therapeutic in and of itself, to be able to say this. But again, to see people grow, to see things go from one extreme to a better extreme, even though we've had issues along the way. Um, we've done some real good work in New Haven, and I'm proud of what we've done.
Yeah.
Stefan Jenkins, I'm gonna bring it to you. How are you taking care of yourself?
Well, I spend a lot of time by myself. That's number one, which I love because I get to write. I'm an author, so I do a lot of writing. That's very therapeutic for me. I create, so I'm a graphic designer. That's very, therapeutic for me. And getting, just taking self-care, just taking those times to be alone and to, woosah, let it all out and then start the new day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that I do is like, I think I'm a fabulous singer. People might not believe it. So when I'm home, that's that's one of
Oh,
the
we
things that
gotta hear
relaxes
it.
me. I think I sing soprano. My father said, no, tenor.
I want to hear you sing now.
That's
So
hilarious.
it's so good. But I do that, and I have a network of people like, that
Right.
call me on my stuff. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And I think that's healthy. Like, like But sometimes in this, we think, for myself, sometimes I think oh, this person did this, and then I have to think about, okay, what part did you play? You know what I'm saying? And so, and how could you make it better? So I have like that, like I said, I sing, I get therapy, I have a network, and I talk to other people that with like minds. So that way to make sure that I'm on track of what I'm supposed to, in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and Colin, I don't want to forget about you.
Oh, well, music is, I'm a writer musically. And then I'm also do case management as well. But for me, it's those success stories and also that I see that helps me, as well as the music that musically writing and involved, engaging in that. I think, as I said earlier, music is therapeutic in and of itself. It can help you. I mean, I had once an interview for a position at Stanford Hospital as a music therapist, and for people dealing with Alzheimer's. And it was interesting to see that how they respond to music. They may not be able to have a conversation with you, but when they hear something that's from their era, it brings back something to them, and they're able to communicate, and they start to be able to sing. My father passed away almost 2 years now, and he dealt with that. But he was a preacher, and it was interesting how one morning he's a pastor, but we were all on a family call, and that particular morning we were talking, and he began to preach a sermon as though we started quoting scriptures, but what scripture and preaching sermon, and what for that moment, that was the man that we knew. He was also the man we knew anyway, but the man that we knew in terms of here he is being able to do what he loved to do, and he's done so for so many years. So there's so many things that can resonate, and music is one of the things I think for people, for me anyway, that keeps me happy, keeps me therapeutic for me as well. Even though you write it, sometimes you write about what you are dealing with, or what you see, and so it's therapeutic for me in that regard.
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone. We're about out of time, but I want to remind listeners, if you're just joining us or if you've been with us for this period of time, we've been talking about an upcoming celebration in honor of World AIDS Day. It's on December 2nd at 6 p.m. at 266 Shelton Avenue. Andrea Daniels Singleton, I'm going to ask you, how can folks find out more about this event? And make sure they show up. Get your butt there.
So I have distributed the flyers to almost every agency, and I had conversations with either case managers or program directors, and it was also sent out to the Ryan White Consortium. So it's out there and it's jumping. And I just invite everybody, just come on. It's going to be a blast. We just going to smile. That's what I want to do. I want to smile.
That's what we need to do.
And sing. That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone for taking the time. We've been on here. We've had a wonderful discussion. And I will see all of you beautiful people, I hope, on December 2nd at 6 p.m. Thank you all so much, and have a beautiful night. We are pre-recording this before Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone has a beautiful, safe, and happy Thanksgiving as well.
You as well.
All right, you too.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Hope
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.